Hawks fans, what's the business? It's time to get lit. Cause word on the street, free agency about to hit, and mass moves are imminent. And the Atlanta Hawks have multiple targets that they can try to go after. And in this video right here, we're gonna definitely get into it. I have multiple updates for you guys. That's right, multiple, and it's not just about one guy. Of course, but guys, welcome back to Hawks Digest. I am Chris Tip Moore. Take off those shoes, leave on those socks now, and it's time to get into a new Hawks video surrounding everything around Atlanta Hawks. You know, free agency is right around the corner. Honestly, as I'm doing this video, it is currently 6:02. So by the time you guys get this video, it's going to be a little bit after that. But as I'm recording, that's the time. So now it is officially time for free agency. And there's some things surrounding the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to get into it. You know I am. But before I do, let me do what I do. Thank you to everybody who is a part of Hawks Digest, making us one of your first listens. I'm pretty sure that this has to be updated by now. Something has to be rising. Something has to be falling. Regardless, if this is your first time at Hawks Digest, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can catch all the Hawks news when it comes out from Hawks Digest. And if you have already been subscribed, thank you so graciously, because we definitely appreciate you. But let's get into this report, shall we? I think we shall. And it's surrounding a guy that has been around the Atlanta Hawks in reports as far as like regarding us. Hey, it is Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And it was a report that came out by Mark Stein. They dropped that right now Alexander Walker is a target for the Atlanta Hawks, one of their top targets. But it's not just the Atlanta Hawks that are looking at Alexander Walker. It's other teams that want Null. And in one in particular, those doggone Detroit Pistons. Those pesky Pistons are trying to see if they can get Alexander Walker's services as well. Mark Stein reported that the two leaders to sign Wolves guard / forward Nickeil Alexander-Walker as free agency opens at 6 p.m. are the Detroit Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks. Now, this guy right here, you know he brings 3 and D. He's like a glue guy. He can have shooting from the perimeter. He honestly, for the Minnesota Timberwolves, he was their glue guy. Like just being able to facilitate little here and there as a secondary guard and defender, secondary ball handler. That's what I mean. But actually, as a guard and defender, you see him guard some of the best players. Now, offensively, of course, his production has gone up over the last 3 years. Last 3 seasons, he shot 40%, 39%, 38% from 3. With his point totals going up from 6.3, 8 points, and 9.4 points last year. And then, of course, rebounds all going up as well, 1.6, 2.0, and 3.2 last season. And even his assists, even though they're still all in the 2 range, it went up little by little, 2.1, 2.5, and 2.7. So, again, Alexander Walker is somewhat like a glue guy. That's what I really think of him as. 3 and D, somebody's going to bring defense, give you some offense as well, because he did have like a 26-point game in the playoffs for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So if he gets hot and gets into a flow, he can put up some points. We'll see what happens if he was to come to the Atlanta Hawks and get more oppos. But that's one guy that I can say it would improve the Atlanta Hawks. He would. And he's a guy that I'm eyeing, especially like after things like you see that the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're going to re-sign Julius Randle, right? Then you also look at it, they also are bringing back Naz Reid. So the odd man out right here is Alexander Walker. When I'm just looking at the landscape, that's all. So with this guy, he could be on his way out. That's fine. We got a place for him right here in Atlanta. But it's not just about him. Again, if you guys have been listening to me from the beginning, I have multiple guys. This guy right here, he's already in a Hawks jersey. You may know him. His name is Caris Levert, nicknamed Little Uzi Levert. So this guy right here, he is still an option for our Atlanta Hawks. But there's a problem again. Those darn pesky Piskins. Yeah, I'm calling them Piskins. I know exactly what I'm saying, Hawks fans. But those Pistons, those guys are trying to get Caris Levert. Some things are going around with Malik Beasley. Possibly could have been doing some gambling. At the end of the day, that's Detroit's problem. And those Pistons, they have to figure that out. But y'all Pistons, y'all need to figure out what y'all gonna do and leave guys who we're targeting alone, like Nall and also like Caris Levert. Because Caris Levert on the second half of the season, this guy was definitely helping the offense off the bench, and he was definitely bringing in that leadership, that veteran experience, and we needed all those things on the Atlanta Hawks. Caris Levert enjoyed his role while he was with the Atlanta Hawks. Said he was open to definitely coming back. We're going to have to start it out. The Hawks are definitely open to bringing him back. What would the deal look like? I'm not sure. Honestly, you can't overpay here, but honestly, you have to have that offense coming off of the bench. And this guy already knows how to play in the system. I believe bringing him in. I understand people worry about his consistency when it comes to scoring the basketball and things, but Caris LeVert had more on games, at least with 12 to 15 points or more, than he had off games. Okay, he provided sparks off the bench. He created his own shot. He played decent defense as well. So at the end of the day, if Caris LeVert can come back on a good deal for the Atlanta Hawks, I'm bringing him back and I'm adding him to this bench with what we've already improved with the KC, with not KCP, with KP, Kristaps Porzingis, with also so having guys like Asa Newell, aka ASAP Newell, bringing him in. So there's other options as well to go about, but I want those Detroit Pistons to go ahead and move along because they are trying to factor into guys that we're trying to get after. I understand they're trying to get better. We're trying to get better, so it is what it is. All right, Hawks fans. For those who are still with me, we have more Hawks business to get into, and let's move along to it. We actually made some transactions today, and one of the first ones, it wasn't the first one, but the latest was the Atlanta Hawks declining Dominic Barlow's team option of 2.2 million. Now that move right there, when you think about it, you kind of seen it coming. And right now with that move, the Hawks have 10 players on the active roster: Trae Young, Kristaps Porzingis, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, Zaccharie Risacher, Dyson Daniels, Kobe Buffkin, Asa Newell, Vit Krejci, and Mohamed Gay. So there's definitely going to be more moves being made because we don't even have a full roster. Yes, we have some two-way contracts, some two-way deals, but Barlow, at the end of the day, I want to say thank you for him for his service. Now, he had to get forced in because of a lot of injuries, and he did average 4.2 points, 2.4 rebounds, almost a block, almost a steal, and he shot nearly 54% from the field, 25% from three, and his free throw percentage was 63%. But, I said that was only about 10, 11 minutes per game as well. He was coming in, it wasn't like eye-popping at all, but he was definitely serviceable at different times. Of course, fast breaks, pick and roll. He could run the floor. So I'd like to say thank you to his service. Dominic Barlow, again, we're moving off from his contract right now, $2.2 million. And we will see exactly where we go from there. But those aren't the only moves that were made. Is again, also, got you right here. We have also the Atlanta Hawks, and this is per Keith Smith, NBA. The Atlanta Hawks have also tendered two-way qualifying offers to Jacob Toppin, who is also an interesting case, I believe, and also Keaton Wallace, who is another interesting case. Both guys will become restricted free agents on July 1st. Now, again, how did we get here? Remember my last video, I was saying that we signed some guys, of course, including Jalen Johnson's brother, Kobe. So right now we have Johnson, Plowden, and Dinwiddie. We have those three guys as our two-way spots being locked up. But with Toppin and with Wallace, these guys, and of course, Jacob Toppin, he was signed, with a two-way deal because we converted Dominic Barlow's contract to a standard contract. So that's why we was able to do that. And then also Keaton Wallace, remember, we signed him back in July. And he provided us with solid depth. Honestly, you know what I'm saying, he had those spot minutes, but, you know what I'm saying, of course, everybody remembers games against Boston and everything. He had some big games regardless, man. And again, another serviceable guard who possibly may have a shot to have that backup role depending on what happens in free agency. But why did they tender them? Well, these are what they consider QOs, and those were called qualifying offers. They're 1 year, two-way tenders to keep both guys as restricted free agents. Of course, you know, in Toppin, he did wonders in the G League. Honestly, he had 25 and 8 in the G League. And then, of course, like I said, Keaton Wallace, he stepped in many times, you know, in helping us with the backup point guard position, doing the best way that he could. I think both of these guys are cost-effective depth pieces, so the Hawks can basically elevate them if they need to, if any injuries hit. And with those tender and qualifying offers, Atlanta remains in control while preserving flexibility to shuffle between the NBA and the G League. So hopefully, you know, so I didn't lose you guys with that. That is what's going on with our Atlanta Hawks right now. We're just trying to fill this roster out. Summer League is coming. Summer League is later on this upcoming week. So we're going to see exactly what young Hawks have to bring to our franchise, to our possibly College Park Skyhawks. And hey, we're going to move forward with that. One last thing, Hawks fans, and I promise I'm going to let you go after this. I have an idea, and call me crazy about it, but I just wanted to run it past you guys, and y'all let me know what you think. Let me bring him up right now. What do you guys think about this guy? This is Ty Jerome, and he is, I believe, the odd man out in Cleveland. Cleveland has made some moves. They just got Lonzo Ball in a shocker. And honestly, they signed like Sam Merrill. So I'm trying to see exactly what's going to happen with Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome could be an interesting backup, but he did have career highs last year he had career highs. So next year, this coming season, he may demand a little bit more of a pay raise. He averaged 12.5 points, shot 51% from the field, 43% from three, and he played 70 games. He was one of the best backup point guards or best backup guards, you know what I'm saying, last year, and one of the best shooters. The Atlanta Hawks always need shooting. And also, I just wanted to put it out there too that ESPN's Bobby Marks, who's definitely a senior insider as well, he actually put out the idea to possibly sign for the Hawks to sign not only Alexander Walker with a sign and trade with Minnesota, and using our $13.1 million trade exception to do that, but he also was saying, hey, why don't the Hawks go after Ty Jerome as well and sign him to a non-tax mid-level exception? And I'm just like, that would be interesting. But the Hawks do need backup point guard play. And I don't have a problem with Ty Jerome at all. I know he hasn't been mentioned like that, but I wouldn't mind mentioning him right now. And I wouldn't mind having him on the Atlanta Hawks because we need backup point guard play. We need shooting. We need somebody who can operate the offense, and you don't have to worry about it like that. Now, Dyson Daniels was effective. Jalen Johnson helps, you know, as well, being a point forward. We have had Keaton Wallace, who's come in and be serviceable. But again, Ty Jerome, the natural position and one of the best guards last year to do it. So I feel like, you know, so with the Atlanta Hawks having flexibility, why not kick the tires on Ty Jerome? Just a thought, Hawks fans. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. Free agency is here. Let's see what the Atlanta Hawks get done. And I'm ready for it, man. In Anzi Sala, we trust. And until next time, guys, peace and blessings to you all. And to you all,